the state. So it's a third factor, and it's pure, as in it's totally separate from the rest, from the other effects and from society. Basically, the point of this is, he touches on, is civil society connected, or is civil society going to be something that's going to occur slowly, gradually over time and separately? These are the two arguments he brings about.
Then
I think there's an option of making a picture of it.
Is the implementation of rule of law, which, in his opinion, and we strongly agree with him, is strongly connected to the to whether the country belonged to Ottoman Empire or Habsburg Empire. In Habsburg Empire, even though it wasn't a liberal monarchy as it was in Great Britain, still it was a rule of state. It was a monarchy which was ruled by the law. And those countries which later separated from the Habsburg Empire, they preserved the traditions of rule of law in the state. And it can be shown through the EU statistics, because European Union provided research, and this research told us that those countries which belong to Habsburg Empire could not only include the European Union bodies in their constitutions and laws, but also implement them and understand them as they are. And we decided to quote Rupnik on that. The Habsburg Empire was certainly not a liberal democracy on the Great Britain model, but nor was it an autocracy like Tsarist Russia. And of course it wasn't an autocracy, and of course the situation with the rule of law wasn't as bad as in Ottoman Empire, where, for example, non-Muslim citizens, they couldn't even have, they were not able to have horses and ride horses, even to that extent. Not saying about the weapons. Okay, the fourth factor we should look at is nation-state dual economic union. As Rupnik argues in his first paragraph, some of the Balkan states are derailed from the transition to market economy and democracy by building nation-state. And in his article, Rupnik argues that now most of the Balkan countries, they are busy with building nation-state. And in those countries, the principle of freedom is at odds with the principle of nation, which is, according to him and Darndorf, is the major impediment for democracy. And in Central European countries, they are not so. They don't care much about building nation state. They care more about implementing market economy and democratic laws and civil society. The reason for it, as Rupnik suggests, that not because the Central Europeans are more democratical in their nature, but because they had their ethnic cleansing 50 years ago. And Balkans, and in the Balkans, they are not done yet. In my opinion, and Nikolai supported me when we were discussing it, it's not really true, because there were ethnic cleansing in Balkans even 50 years ago. Anybody can remember the Ustasha movement or Chechen. And in Central Europe, there are not so many ethnic cleansing as comparing to Balkans. So I don't think it is a valuable argument for us. But it's my personal opinion.
Next, he touched on the cultural backbone of democracy. This is like a smaller point that he makes, lesser argument, but at the same time important one. But he basically proposes the question: is there a correlation between the success of democratic transition and consolidation and Western Christianity in Central Europe? And the second question he proposed: is orthodoxy to blame for the slow democratic transition in the Balkans? Basically, the more Western type religions, Protestantism, Catholicism, by the 70s, they have adapted democracy as their preferred means of government. As shown in Vatican II, which was passed by the Catholic Church in, I believe, early 70s, it linked human rights to democracy, and democracy is the best way to achieve human rights and for a higher level of human rights. And he touches on that, yes, in a way, orthodoxy is holding back the Balkan states because it does draw correlation between the past and it's not as advanced as Western models of Christianity. And of course, Eastern churches have not recognized human rights issues as well as the Catholic Church and Protestants. The next slide, this is a big argument that he proposed: international environment. Past 1989, Central Europe has been primarily stable. So he he shows three arguments as of 1999. The first one: Russia is a weak and inward-looking, and the sphere of influence is shrinking. So this is the first point that he makes. That we have time. Okay, so the Russian Federation is weak, it's looking inwards. During the 1990s, this is a fact. There's problems internally. There's the 1998 economic crisis in the country. So Russia does not have the same soft and hard power in the area. Second is Germany has become a regional powerhouse. Germany has influenced the governments in Central Europe. The constitutional court and the parliamentary system have been implemented by Central European countries. The third is no significant regional conflicts in Central Europe. This coincides with stability as far as borders. There's no border disputes. So this is one of the key factors in establishing a stable government. You have to have borders that are unchangeable and recognized by your neighbors. Okay, and the last point he makes: the EU, European Union, and NATO both have moved into Central Europe, moved eastward. Two policies he draws attention to is integration as far as Central Europe, and as far as the Balkans, he draws into intervention. So while Central Europe is being integrated, as we see now with missile shields going up across as far as NATO and EU's membership as far as Czechoslovakia and other countries, Czech Republic and Poland and other countries, they are now members of EU. So he draws this parallel that while Central Europe is moving into integrating, the Balkans are still a place of conflict.
He concludes his article with stating that now the European countries should not create artificial borders as it was during the Cold War. We don't supposed to have another Iron Curtain. Probably that's it. And as you asked, Professor, we will touch a little bit on historical perspective. Growing European Union.
Quickly, this is the growing European Union, 27 member states, and moving forward. So showing you that it is growing. Now there's
okay, and in our opinion, Rubnik draws a line in the separating those countries in wrong place, because it's really obvious that those countries which belong to Habsburg Empire, they are much more developed than those which belong to Ottoman Empire. And there are two countries in Balkans which belong to Habsburg Empire, and they